Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel guys. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm happy to see you today for another video, and for this week's video we're going to talk about the restaurant. At the restaurant. In French, au restaurant. I don't know if you saw last week's video, which was related to the cuisine, the French food, the ingredients, etc. We're continuing on this chapter, but this time it's mostly going to be focused on how do we make an order in French? What are the verbs that we're going to be using related to like ordering some food, related to the food chapter? So that, for example, if you plan on going to a French-speaking country, you're going to be super comfortable to ask your order, to ask how to pay, all of the vocabularies, the words, the construction of the phrases, the expressions. You're going to be super good ordering something at the restaurant. So, here we go. Let's start with the introduction. Introduction. Au restaurant, découvrir le vocabulaire et les phrases utiles pour commander au restaurant. Meaning, to discover the vocabulary and the useful phrases to order at a restaurant. Commander, to order. Okay, first, let's start with le vocabulaire de base, meaning the basic vocabulary. If you want to say a menu, we have two types of ways to say it. Un menu, same as in English, but careful on the pronunciation. Menu, menu, or une carte. Un menu, une carte. If you want to say a waiter or a waitress, you know that in French we have the masculine and the feminine. For this one, it's going to be a different ending. So if you want to say a waiter masculine, un serveur, a waitress, une serveuse. E-U-S-E, when it's feminine, the S makes the Z sound. Un serveur, une serveuse. A waiter, a waitress. Then, if you want to say a table, pretty simple, same word, but careful on the pronunciation in this one. Why? Because if you want to say a table, in French, you're going to say une table. Table. So it's not table, it's table. You combine the B and the L. It's always going to be the same way. Every time you have two consonants, you're going to have to associate those two. Une table, a table. Then, if you want to say a starter or an appetizer, une entrée. Une entrée is a starter or an appetizer. If you want to say the main course, to say the main course, you're going to say un plat. And careful with this one, un plat, finishing with a T, it's a consonant that is most of the time pretty mute, so you're not going to pronounce it. So if you want to say a main course, you say un plat, and you don't pronounce the T. Then, if you want to say a dessert, to say a dessert, you're going to say un dessert. You really do pronounce your S like a S sound and not a Z sound. So you don't say dessert, you say dessert. And you really open your mouth. And same as usual, you don't pronounce your T. Un dessert. Then, if you want to say the bill or the check, the bill, the check, you're going to say l'addition. And the T pronounced like a S sound. L'addition. Let's do it again. Un menu, une carte, un serveur, une serveuse, une table, une entrée, un plat, un dessert, l'addition. These are the main vocabularies that you're going to be using related to that. Now, let's move on the food. It's just the main ones, okay? If you want to learn more, feel free to do some researches on your own or to look back on our previous video when we saw more vocabulary related to the food. But if you want to say beverages, les boissons. Les boissons, beverages. Water, de l'eau. Wine, du vin. Beer, une bière. And juice, un jus. And you don't pronounce the S. Let's do it again. Les boissons, de l'eau, du vin, une bière, un jus. Then, les plats. Les plats means meals. If you want to say chicken, du poulet. Poulet is chicken. Keep in mind that every time we talk about a food, you're always going to have to say the some. Some chicken, some fish, some wine, some water. Whatever you talk about, you're going to have to say the some. Because everything is gender in French, you have to adjust your sum to the gender of your food. Poulet, chicken, is masculine. So I'm going to use the masculine some, which is du. So to say some chicken, du poulet. Some fish, du poisson. Donc poisson is fish, but if I want to say fish in French and order something, I need my some. Fish, du poisson. Pasta, pâte. Pâte, it's always plural. So careful with this one. You never put the pâte singular, you always put them plural. So because my pâte has the S because it's plural, so is my son. Donc you're always going to have to be saying des pâtes to say pasta. You put the some plural because pasta has to be plural. And then if you want to say a pizza, you can say a pizza. It's fine because you can count it. A pizza, une pizza. Same word. Let's read it again. Du poulet, du poisson, des pâtes, une pizza. And then, when it comes to the dessert, en français, les desserts. If you want to say an ice cream, une glace. Sometimes maybe you've heard about crème glacée. Crème glacée is the same thing. It's just that it's more used in Canada, but especially in Montreal. In Quebec, they're going to say une crème glacée. In France, we tend to say une glace. A cake, un gâteau, and an apple pie, une tarte aux pommes. That literally transferred to a pie of apples. Donc, les desserts, une glace, un gâteau, une tarte aux pommes. These are, of course, some examples, but we have a lot of different, okay? So you're just going to be able to add more. If you know more or to look for more, it's pretty simple. Then, when it comes to the useful verbs, les verbes utiles. If you want to say to order, you're going to say commander. Commander, to order. To ask or to ask for something, demander. To eat, manger. To drink, boire. To take or to have when it comes to food. I'm going to have, plus the food, you're going to say prendre. To pay, payer. To choose, choisir. To bring, apporter. To serve, servir. To cost, coûter. And to taste, goûter. Donc careful between to cost and to taste. Coûter, goûter. One is the C, one is the G. Coûter, goûter. Okay, let's read them one more time. Commander, demander, manger, boire, prendre, payer, choisir, apporter, servir, coûter, goûter. These are the main verbs that you're going to have to be using if you want to talk about that specific subject. It's, of course, the name of the verb. So when it comes to like usually using them in phrases, you're going to always have to adjust your ending with the pronoun. But this, you know, if you struggle on the ending, feel free to go see our previous videos related to that topic. How do we create the verb and how do we put the right ending for the right pronoun? But when it's the ER verb, you're supposed to know. Then we have the IR. So you just have to know that every time you want to put those verbs in the real situation, you have to adjust it. But these are just the name of the verbs. The names. I have some types of questions for you. Bonjour, je voudrais une table pour... Hello, good morning. I would like a table for 2. Example. Another one. Qu'est-ce que vous me conseillez? Meaning, what do you suggest? Qu'est-ce que vous me conseillez? 3. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Meaning, what is it? For example, if I look at the menu, le menu, I don't know what that is. Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is it? And the last one, puis-je avoir l'addition, s'il vous plaît? You know that addition means the bill. Can I have the bill, please? Puis-je avoir l'addition, s'il vous plaît? So if you want to practice on your own, feel free to read those phrases. You can practice on the pronunciation. I'm going to read it again to help you out if you want to hear it one more time. And if you want to ask more questions, feel free to maybe try to write some questions on your own that you can ask when you're at the restaurant. And you can always send us your questions in the comment section. We're going to see it. or on Instagram. I'm going to be happy to see that and to help you. Let's read them one more time when it comes to the pronunciation. Bonjour, je voudrais une table pour 2 personnes, s'il vous plaît. Qu'est-ce que vous me conseillez? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Puis-je avoir l'addition, s'il vous plaît? 4 different types of questions that you can ask if you're a French-speaking country. Look, I wrote you a little dialogue, pretty simple, with the translation, so you will always be able to relate to the words if you struggle, but it's not that complicated. If you want to say, hello, I want orange juice, you're going to say, bonjour, je voudrais, I would like, une pizza et un jus d'orange. Very good. Anything else? Très bien. Autre chose? No, thank you. The bill, please. Non, merci. L'addition, s'il vous plaît. And then here you go. You say, voilà. Donc, pretty simple dialogue, but here you see that when you want to use it in context, you're always going to have to prepare your phrase correctly and be careful with the way that you write it and the way that you're supposed to put your verbs together and the phrases. That's pretty much it. If you want to maybe try to do it on your own too, pretty simple. If you want to practice, it's a good example. You can try to maybe create a little dialogue on your own and send it to us. We have les expressions. If you want to say I would like, je voudrais. Je voudrais is I would like. For me, pour si, c'était très bon. Moi, c'est combien? Now, it's time for you to do this little exercise. Pretty simple. You have to complete the end of the phrase with the right verb or the right noun. It's just some vocabulary. Donc, we can read the phrases together and I'm going to let you choose the right word for it to be meaningful. Au restaurant, je parle avec le docteur, serveur, professeur. Je mange une pizza comme entrée, plat, dessert. Je dis, donne-moi, je voudrais, tu prends, pour commander poliment. Poliment means in a polite way. À la fin, when I'm done. So what you just have to do is to choose vocabulary word for it to make sense when it comes to the. I hope that you liked today's video. Don't forget to put the thumbs up to like this video. If you have more questions related to that, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to ask for more. We're going to be happy to help you out with that topic. And don't forget that every week we do what we call the défi, which is some little challenges that we can help you out when it comes to the different levels of French. So if you are A1, A2, B1, B2, we can always help you with little oral comprehension, some vocabulary exercises. So if you're interested in that, don't hesitate to text us as usual on our social media. And I hope that you like this video. And I just cannot wait to see you next week for another video. Salut!